Welcome to another video from Dr. Lock. On my bench here we have some screen door lock handles, and the reason we do is because I had a client who has a Batman screen door lock on their front door, and because the brand is no longer made, it's created big problems. The problem they have is that their handle basically is broken. This is one of the most common reasons that people were replacing their locks. If it wasn't breaking at the back, it was breaking on the handle. So basically the handle just goes through like that. It's a square, and then you have your spindle and it's spring loaded, and away you go. So there's no problems there. If we could get more Batman locks, then there'd be no problems. But the problem is, if we can't buy parts, we actually have to replace the whole thing. Now, we do have some locks which we sell as Batman replacement screen door locks, but if your Batman lock, this one here, has the rods that connect on the back of it, that means that you've now got to replace the rods and the 3-point locking mechanisms, and then we have to buy a whole new kit with rods like this which are adjustable, and it's a big song and dance for a broken handle. So I was asked to see if there's another way. So this is what I've come up with so far. Rather than replacing, if you've got a broken handle on your Batman screen door lock and you just want to replace the handle and keep the lock working, rather than replacing the whole lock, the whole locking mechanisms, the latches, the strikes and all of that, we need to find a quicker and easier way. Now, the Batman ones, they have a square footprint right here for the handle, and some of the other ones I looked at had like a hexagon. Although it is a possibility to put a hexagon into a square, you are going to have some modification, small problems. It does go in there, and it is a very tight fit. By possibly shaving a little bit off the top and the bottom, you could possibly get that in there, and that would possibly work. It looks like it would fit quite nicely. You might see about a 1-2 millimeter gap on the inside, but it would work as a handle. Finding Widco Mark II screen door lock handles is not a big problem. You could ask any local locksmith; they've probably got a few in the metal recycling bin, because this would be something that we normally wouldn't keep, would kind of throw out. So your locksmith might have a few of them lying around which you could possibly modify. That's option number one. Option number two was, I found an old Austral lock here. This one here is broken. This had some sort of 3-point locking kit on the back here. This one had the handles, if I can show you the shape there, if you see that shape with the divot there, that wasn't too bad. That's a very, very close match. In actual fact, I think that whole handle would go straight on this lock body right here. I'll just check it out, and yep, looks like that is a match right there. Sorry, the handle is back to front. These handles here actually have a cutout for the top section. It is a square, but it does have a cutout for this top section there. So would that be a possibility if you can track down a couple of these handles? Possible. It looks like it goes on one side, or it might need slight modification. You might need to enlarge the hole here or here to actually make that work. But that is a Austral Ultimate, I believe, but it's an older model. So now they don't really sell it, so finding that can be a bit of an issue. On saying that too, this handle was the closest one that I did find to go into the Batman. When I put it in there, it actually fitted in there perfectly. The only problem was that we need to either remove some meat up the top here, or take this notch off this handle here, which I did. So here's one here that I've just taken that little bit of meat off, and now that will go straight in, slide, and that will work. The spring in this one has gone, but that's ready to operate, and the spindle lines up, so that would be a good match. And if you see the finish on that, it's perfect gap, perfect height, perfect everywhere. It's flat on the back, same spindle drive. So that is the best option I found, and that would be to use this type of lock. If you can get this type of lock where it's got this little ramp here and it kind of tapers in, if you can get it, and that's from an Austral, I believe it's Ultimate, but it's an older model. So let's have a look at the newer model now, because you're probably going to ask me about that one. Okay, and one more thing, I also checked out the Widco Mark III screen door lock. that's not compatible. The cylinder's in the wrong spot and it's spring loaded in a different configuration. So anything along those lines with these two springs on the back, not going to work for what we're trying to do here. Leaving one other one, I'll open a brand new lock to demonstrate this. Where's a knife? Use a pick, it's just as good. Okay, and just looking at the handle, and okay, so here's the handle here. So this is an Austral Ultimate new model, and this is the handle. So it doesn't look too bad. It's in a square configuration, spring loaded, so it's got everything we want. Let's try it in the Batman. Ooh, and it's a tight fit. You will need to shave 1 millimeter off each of the sides, or even 0.5 millimeter, but that's actually going to work as well. If I was to push that in hard enough, there we go, I'll push it on a bit of an angle, it looks very, very close. Let's do a little bit of measurements here. On 0, so that's 25.26. That's what needs to come through this hole. 25.26. So literally there is 1/4 mil that is gap around there. So that's going to work perfectly. The only thing is you will need to take a file to all 4 sides to get that to fit in. So if you're looking just to replace a handle, you have a few options. Go talk to your local locksmith, see if you can find this model here. If you can find this model here and file that one edge down like I did there, you've got yourself a handle. Next option is if you go for the Wiko Mark II, which looks like this. That is a possibility too, but it's not a tighter fit into a square hole. And look, it can be done, it'll work for a while, but it's not a really good, how would you say, modification, mix and match type part. This part here, if you just go buy yourself, they're on our lock shop. I'll leave the link down in the description. Austral Ultimate, I'll leave the link, and basically if you've just got a broken handle and you don't want to change the lock, you don't want to change the 3-point locking and all the rest of it, this might be your best bet. Change the handle and that will get you out of trouble, save you a lot of time, because when you start mucking around with the 3-point locking system, the striker plates, adjusting the length, the rods and all of this business, it's expensive, and you know, it's time consuming. A lock like this sets you back about anywhere from, I think, about 50 to 60 bucks. The 3-point locking kit and the new replacement lock that we sell for Batmans is probably closer to 100, so it's going to be cheaper in that regard. So that's the best I could come up with for a solution for a broken handle on a Batman. Leave your comments down below, and see your local locksmith for parts. We've only got a couple of parts. We don't have enough parts to sell for a handle, so if you need one, I will sell you a new lock, but we can't just sell you a handle or a part or anything. But at least it gives you a bit of an idea if you can track down other parts from other locksmiths, or if you just want to buy this one lock, 50 bucks, you know, it gets out of trouble and you get 2 handles, so that way you've got a spare as well. Okay, thanks for watching.